Here's a question that commonly gets asked is what's the difference between lilac and Daphne? And to dive into this question a little bit more, in the West, the typical variety that's used is Syringa vulgaris. In the East, the typical variety that is used is Daphne genqua. So you can see two very different botanical families there, but they have many overlapping principles, but they have a few differences. So let's dive into what's generally kind of similar. Both areas are going to make use of the flower bud and the root bark. In particular, in China, the Daphne genqua; in Asia, traditional Chinese medicine. In the West, lilac is going to be identified with the lymph system, the respiratory system, uterus a bit. The root bark is really wonderful for fighting fevers, tonics, anti-inflammatory, astringent. The flower buds, antiseptic, antitussive, antiviral, boost the immune system, diuretic. And in the East, Daphne genqua, in comparison, is known for moving qi in blood, resolving phlegm. Phlegm isn't just mucus, it's also this idea of viscous, energetic gunk that can mist the mind, creating foggy brains. It can create emotional disruptions. It can create arthritic pain, gunk in the in the joints, leukorrheas, bladder infections. It has a range up in disrupt digestion. It has all kinds of it's more serious than just dampness, if you will. Now, Daphne genqua in traditional Chinese medicine is one of the 50 fundamental herbs, and it is very commonly used. It's going to go for things like malaria, treating skin conditions, antispasmodic properties, helping heal sore throats and tonsils. In the West, the lilac is more typically going to be seen as a culinary herb, a perfume, and also to help treat lung conditions, because it does have this antitussive, this antiviral, so surprisingly good chronic bronchitis. So it kind of comes in very, very, importantly in that area. In the West is more of the leaning. But these plants have overlapping capabilities this way. And I always like to point out with this, because we just tend to think of lilac as this sort of delicate spring flower. And now go find out more about it, whether you live in the East or whether you live in the West. These are plants that are available to do some powerfully important healing. And they're worth knowing more about. You'll appreciate them that much more.